Okay, so for part 3, now we have quite a few problems, but we're going to do just one more. We're going to take number 8 here, which is another number problem. 3 times one number equals twice a second number. Twice the first number is 3 more than the second number. Find the numbers. Okay, whew. All right, there's a lot going on there. We have two numbers. Let's use x and y. Let x equal the first number. Let y equal the second number. So the first equation was 3 times one number, I'll just make that x, equals twice a second number. The second number is y. Twice is 2 times. Twice the first number, that's 2x, that means equals in a word problem, 3 more than the second number. Now more than means plus, so that would be the second number plus 3. If you say 3 plus y, that's okay as well. Here's the system of equations. So now we have two equations, we have two variables. So what do? Notice that the x's and the y's are on different sides. So elimination might not be the best way to do it because I like to use elimination when x and y are on the same side. What I'm going to do is use substitution. I'm going to solve for one of the variables and then plug that into the other equation to find the other variable. Now we have 3x, 2y, 2x, and this is a 1y. I like this. I'm going to take the second equation and I want to solve it for y. I want to get y by itself, so actually I'm going to move the positive 3 by subtracting it, and what we get is 2x minus 3 equals y. Now that's nice because I solved that for y. Now since I'm using substitution, I need to take this equation now and I need to go back to the other equation, which is equation 1, and I need to substitute this for the y. So equation 1 was 3x equals 2 times y. But we just found out that y is equal to 2x minus 3. So now we're going to work it out. 3x equals distribute 4x minus 6. I want the x's by themselves. I'm going to move the 4x by subtracting it. We get negative 1x equals negative 6. So we'll divide by negative 1. X equals 6. Okay, we got x. That's the first number. We need the second number. Notice that we have down here y equals 2x minus 3. So let's take that. I'll write it I'll write the y first. 2 times x minus 3. The x is 6. That's 12 minus 3. Y equals 9. So the two numbers are 6 and 9. Okay, so that's how we do that problem. Let's see, we'll do one more here. We'll do number 9, a little challenge problem. Since my uncle's farmyard appeared to be overrun with chickens and dogs, I asked him how many of each he had. Being a puzzler as well as a farmer, my uncle replied that his dogs and chickens had a total of 148 legs and 60 heads. How many dogs and how many chickens does my uncle have? Well, so we have 148 legs and 60 heads. We've got to understand a couple things first here. Let's assume that chickens have 2 legs. Let's assume that dogs have 4. And we will assume that there are no 2-headed chickens or 2-headed dogs, so that each animal has 1 head. We want to find how many dogs and how many chickens. Well, so let D equal the number of dogs let C equal the number of chickens. All right, so can we make an equation? They give us two numbers here. They give us the number of legs. So 148 legs total. Now, how many legs does a dog have? Well, dog has 4. So if we take the number of dogs, each dog has 4 legs. That would be the legs from the dogs. Each chicken has 2. So 4D plus 2C equals 148. The number of chickens, the other number is 60 heads. 60 heads. Well, that would be the total number of animals. So if we take the number of dogs plus the number of chickens, that gives us 60. All right, I'm going to use elimination here, and I'm going to show you one other technique that you could use that might make things a little bit simpler for you. If I was going to eliminate the C's, normally what I would do is I would multiply this by -2 to make these opposites. But one thing that I notice is that in the top equation here, so here's equation 1, equation 2, in the top equation, each number is divisible by 2. So what I'm going to do is actually kind of reduce the equation. As long as we can multiply everything by the same number, we can also divide an equation by the same number. So what I'm going to do here is actually divide. I'm going to divide by -2. Each piece here, I'm going to divide by -2. Here's why. 4D divided by -2 is -2D. 2C divided by -2 is -1C. And 148 divided by -2 is -74. There's equation 1. Equation 2 is 1D plus 1C equals 60. Notice that I have opposites. And you might say, well, what's the point of doing that? Why not just multiply here by -2? What it does is it actually keeps these numbers a little bit smaller. By dividing, I'm making the numbers smaller. So it doesn't really make a difference. It's up to you. But sometimes you may want to simplify the equations. You may want to divide some numbers out if you can. All right, so we have opposites here for the C's. So I'm going to add the two equations. This becomes -1D. The C's eliminate equals, that's -14. -74 plus 60 divided by -1. D is 14, but what does D represent? The number of dogs, 14 dogs. Okay, so we also want the number of chickens. Let's go back to the second equation here. 14 dogs plus chickens equals 60. We'll go -14, and we'll get C is equal to 46 chickens. There's our answer. Let me check. 14 dogs plus 46 chickens. Does that give us 60 heads? 60 animals, yes. And now let's see, each dog had 4 legs, so 4 times 14. Each chicken had 2. Does that give us 148 legs? Check. Everything is good, and that is the end of the notes.